So I started something new. I have a journal, an art journal, and this morning I painted the first page in my art journal, and let me show that to you right there. And that was from this morning. And I thought, well, because that picture, the reference photo came from Silver Springs State Park, which is in my town, it's right here. And so I thought, you know what I want to do? I'm going to go out and I'm going to find other places where I can get some reference photos. And that'll be the journal. Like every picture in the journal will be from a reference photo of my own. So let me turn the camera around and show you where I am. And then tomorrow morning, I will paint another page in my journal, my art journal, from these reference photos. And feel free to use them yourself if you want to. Let me turn the camera around, see what we can find. Well, you already see a really nice place. I mean, right there, there's a shot right there that would work as a reference photo. This, by the way, is called Tuscawilla Park. They got a nice bridge right there. Oh, that would be a good reference photo. Let me show you down here at the foot of the hill I'm standing on. There's some ducks down there. I don't think I'll be painting the ducks, but you never know. You never know. When I look back at this video, oh, look at that. Check that out. Now that's awesome. I'm sure what happened was it saw me and it got scared and flew away. But check those out. Isn't that a beautiful sight, really? So you see some of those birds over there. They can easily be, because wouldn't that be a nice painting with birds sitting on the edge and the reflections in the water? Oh yeah. Let me back it up a bit. Oh yeah. That might be what I paint tomorrow. So just a quick video here on location, so to speak. Oh, look at the turtles. There's turtles down there. Do you see them? I wonder if they'll run away as I walk closer to them. I'll try to keep the camera on them, see if they jump in the water. Yeah, it's December 14th today, 2024, if you want to know. Let's see. You think they'd be scared of me? Oh, there they go. There they go. See it? See, they saw me coming. And they decided to get out of that rock. And that one guy, he's sticking around. He's not going to let go. But anyway, all right, I think we have our reference photo. The sun has changed. It just came out of the clouds and it changed the way everything looks. Now it looks different. I like the way it looked before. I'm glad I got a video of it, so I could use one of those pictures. Maybe this would be a nice picture here. Yeah, this is called Tuscawilla Park. If you want to look it up, it's in Ocala, Florida. I don't know where you are. I know some of you are on the other side of the planet. So, all right, that's it. Let's get to work on the painting now. I'll pick one of these out, probably one of those shots from over there. And that'll be my next entry into my new art journal. All right, well, that is a really fun idea, I think, to paint things from my own town, my own neighborhood, and add them to this journal. So there's yesterday's picture. And now we're going to do today's painting. And it'll be page 2 of my journal, my art journal. Oh, I forgot the water. How could I forget the water? Plus my external drive might have been making noise. Oh, that's probably making noise too. Everything makes noise. Gotta remember that when you're making videos. Everything. There was some weird sound in my opening video too. All right. Alright, so let's get started. I think I'll do the sky, obviously. Some of this gouache on the palette is dry from yesterday, so I can reactivate it just by getting it a little bit wet. And now it's like watercolor, you see, when you do that. It's very much like watercolor, so yeah, just go ahead and add it in there. I'm not sure how this paper is going to hold up as we get deeper and deeper into this journal, but we'll see. We'll see. It's not like watercolor paper. It really is very thin and very papery. So it's really more designed for like writing and for maybe drawing with pen and ink or pencil. But you know, you gotta start someplace when you're doing something new, and this is new for me, to be painting in a book like this. So we'll find out together. We'll find out what works and what doesn't work. Alright, so now that's the sky, and guess what's at the bottom? Is the water. And what does the water do? It reflects the sky. So I'm gonna just do my best to kind of replicate it. We'll worry about the reflections later on, because the beauty of gouache is that, oh, you know what I need to do? I just realized this paper is not completely covering the bottom page. So I have to have a way to protect that page. Voila, look at that, an envelope. An envelope that wasn't used. So that's going to work out good. There we go. That holds the paint like that. That's pretty good. Yeah, they always start out ugly. All my paintings, they do. They start out looking like, what are you thinking, Poppa? What are you painting there? That looks like something you might have done in 3rd grade. 3rd grade? I wonder why I picked that grade. Gosh. Yesterday I watched a video from Robin's grandson, and he's in kindergarten, and they did a little Christmas recital thing, and so they live in New Jersey, so they sent us the video, and it was so sweet and so cute. My own grandson is the same exact age. I haven't seen any from him, have I? Wait, I did see a recital, but it wasn't a Christmas recital. Alright, now let's get some of this yellow and yellow ochre. Kind of like a mixture of yellow and yellow ochre. Right here, this whole land mass here. So I like this particular setting. And it was interesting how when the sun went behind the cloud, how it was, all of a sudden it changed everything. It changed the way it looked. It didn't look as vibrant or something. Excuse me if I clear my throat so much. But yeah, like I say, I'm learning here. Make that a little bit yellow, a little bit lighter. Just kind of get this in here. The beauty of gouache is that I don't have to plan it all out. I can come back and cover it up. It's really something with watercolor. You have to sort of plan it out. More so than you do with gouache. With gouache, you can cover stuff up a lot. Okay, so now we have the blue sky, the kind of the yellowish grass, and I'll add some green to it in later stages, and then the blue reflection of the sky and the water. And the next would be the darker areas. So I think for the darker areas, I'm going to use, let's see, what should I use? I think I'll use this dark blue. Oh, that's green. Why did I think that was blue? That's okay. I'll get it to work. Let me mix it with some burnt umber. All right, let me establish the shoreline, I guess. Let me just try to do that. That looks like the shoreline there. Yeah, let me get some green and some blue into there. Some very muted green. How about that? Very muted. I was looking at some of the art yesterday that I admire, and I really do like when a painting is not as vibrant in color as it is defined by contrast, by tone. In fact, I think there's a whole study on what they call tonalism, like they call pointillism and stuff. So tonalism, not to be confused with tunnel vision, which is not to be confused with television, right? All right, there we go. I'm going to try to just kind of dot this around now. Almost make this, it's almost like I'm doing the reflections first, only because I sort of have to do that while I'm waiting for that other part to dry. Don't worry, we'll fix a lot of this later. Like I say, I can take a few liberties with this. Yeah, you can almost do it as abstract. You can do a lot of these landscapes as abstract. I prefer, if I can figure out a way to settle in on a style, I think I prefer Impressionism. I kind of like all the Impressionistic artists when I look at their work in the museums, etc. I liked how they look. If I keep the brush dry, then I can get that little dotted look. You know how when water is sort of rippled, but not perfectly mirror. I like it not a mirror surface. And you can use the dry brush to get. I use the dry brush a lot on digital. I know that sounds weird, dry on digital, but I do. I just love the way the dry brush looks on the digital paintings. I stopped doing digital paintings a lot because there's an ego part of this, I think, and that's not always a good thing. But to be honest with you, it was bothering me. Everybody, well, not everybody, but a large enough group of people were thinking that digital was somehow AI, that digital was somehow the computer doing everything. And it was a little bit bothering me that I was being kind of cast in the light of an AI artist and not a genuine artist, if that makes sense. Trust me, an artist is an artist is an artist. Don't worry, you don't have to teach me that lesson. But I kind of was a little bit disappointed when somebody would say, "Oh, you did that with a computer. Oh, my nephew does art on a computer." And then you say, "Okay, well, I did it on a computer, but the computer didn't do it." So it's very And maybe it's because I'm old. Maybe young people don't have that issue. That's my thinking too about that. All right, we got sort of something going there now. All right, let me try to get kind of a muddy color, I think, to get the shadows on the grass. Yeah, these are the shadows on the grass. Let's see how this works out. Yeah, that muddy look really looks like a nice shadow. There's a slight discoloration there. Here we go. That's the beginnings. That's the beginnings. All right, let me put that brush away and get a different brush. All right, let me get some very, very, very light green. I'm going to take the green, I'm going to mix it with the white. And I'll put some yellow in there. And then got to tone it down a little bit. Try to get that light green. I used a little bit of burnt sienna to tone down that. All right. Let's just put some of these light trees in here. That looks good. That's a good color. It's a very toned down color. Try and get all these trees in here. There's a number of trees in here that are, it's like autumn in Florida, you know. Winter in Florida with the trees looks like autumn. The rest of the country. Yeah, Florida doesn't experience autumn in autumn. Florida experiences autumn. Well, I guess it does in late autumn because it's not truly winter yet, but it's very close to winter. It's December 15th. Wow, can you believe it? Alright, let's try and get some of this very light green. Very muted down green. Yeah, taking the camera out and finding some reference photos is a fun idea. I'm going to do it again today. Today we're going to Gainesville, so I'll have a different environment up there. Sort of. It's not that different, to be honest with you, but it's different enough. It's different. It's just not. It's about 40 miles away. Robin's brother is in a band. He's a percussionist, and they do really beautiful music. So looking forward to the concert itself, and then while I'm up there, I will make sure I have my camera ready and get some reference photos or some reference videos. I think what I like doing is the reference videos, and then grabbing a screenshot or a still from them. There we go. All right, let's add some of these tones here. could even add a little red, I think, to that. It wouldn't hurt. I think some of these tones on the edge of these trees are a little bit red. It's kind of red blending into burnt sienna. My reference photo, the reference photo I'm using is up on the screen on my computer, in case you're wondering. You see, right now it looks like a third grader painted this. It doesn't look like somebody who's been painting for a while. But you want to know something? Getting back to the whole subject of the digital art, that's how digital art is too. I mean, it doesn't look good right from the beginning. It's all a work in progress every single time, you know. So I know I shouldn't let opinions influence me. Well, I'll tell you what though, the fact that they did influence me actually served me, because I really do think I was focusing more on the digital art than I should have. I was kind of getting too into it, if you know what I mean. And I really was kind of doing a disservice to my own self, because a lot of the art didn't exist anywhere except for on the computer and also on the iPad. So that's a good reason to justify getting back into this right here. Let me put some of those colors down in the reflection. Just little splatters of color here. Get some of these greens in here. We'll get some of these darker tones in there also in a little while. You got to start somewhere, right? All right, there we go. I think I need to grab the brighter orange and the white and lighten up some of the ground underneath them. I think they're a little bit too dull. I know I could wait till the end to do this, but I want to do it now so that I can paint over it. Because these are all the light. This is what attracted me to the scene in the first place, was the light that was hitting across the water there, making its way through the tree limbs, and I guess that's all tree limbs. That's all that was over there. And don't forget the birds. Don't forget the birds. There's birds over there. Remember? I can't forget those birds. The birds kind of give it personality. Or birdieality. Birdieality. I heard you chuckle at that. I heard you chuckle. Birdieality. We watched a movie last night, Robin and I. It was called Red One. And it was with The Rock, you know, Dwayne Johnson. And it was very good. I liked it a lot. I thought the writing was way better than a lot of times you see hokey movies that have hokey writing, but this had some very profound statements about people not being good and how people aren't good and therefore you have to be good if you want to counter it. So I thought that was pretty profound. I always think I should write like a letter to the actors when I see something I like and tell them, oh my gosh, I like that a lot. But then I think they're never going to see that letter. You know, they're never going to see it. They probably get a million letters asking for something. I don't want anything. I just want to share with them. So if you see anybody who's responsible for that movie, J.K. Simmons also, he was Santa Claus. I love his work, but I think I liked this, like he was Santa Claus in this movie, and I think I liked what he did in this movie more than anything else I've seen him in. I've seen him in a lot of stuff. He's one of those guys that I always forget his name, but I remember it now. Yeah, he was very good. And then the young man who plays, oh gosh, does he play Spider-Man or America? Captain America. I think he plays Captain America. Yeah, he was really good too. And the young girl that played the evil witch. She was a pretty witch, but an evil one. Well, she turned out to be not so pretty, but that's an aesthetic thing. We don't want to judge people by their looks. But she was pretty. What is pretty? Anyway. Enough of that stuff, right? So now it's starting to look like a landscape a little bit, isn't it? Isn't it starting to look a little bit like a landscape? I'll wait till the end before I put the birds in there. What I want to do now is get the darker tones for the shadows in the trees. I don't have any Payne's Gray in my palette, but I need to get Payne's Gray. I did order some, so that'll arrive soon. Payne's Gray is like a magical color to me. It really does a lot. Alright, let's get some depth in some of these trees. They all have some brown in them. Every single one of these trees. And then the reflection in the water, of course, also has a lot going on in it too. I'm going to mix my brown with my green, make it a very dark green, very subdued green. Tuscawilla Park in Ocala, Florida is probably the park for this city that most people will think about when they think about the downtown area. There are lots of parks really in the city, but I think Tuscawilla is the one that most people who have visited here, who have looked for the parks, they find Tuscawilla. And it's really a nice park. They have the city has the city officials. they have really made it a lot nicer. For a while there, it was kind of, I don't know, is it fair to say it felt dangerous? It kind of felt dangerous a little bit in there, but not anymore. Now it feels comfortable in there. Yeah, they've done a lot of good. I know people like to complain about their local officials, and I guess there's always just something to justify when you're complaining about elected officials. But the problem I have with the complaints is that they don't ever incorporate the positive stuff. You know, I mean, it's very hard for me to believe that people in local government, I don't know about national, whatever, I know people are corrupt, and I get that. But there's a lot of good people trying to do their best. I know a couple of them from having done the radio work, so I got to know some of them, and most of them are really good people. They're just trying to do what they think is best for the community, and you know, everybody doesn't always agree on how things, and really, if you think about what the job is of the elected officials, it's to figure out how to best spend the money so that the roads are in shape, and so that the events happen and everybody's happy with the events. Like Christmas time, there's a lot of money spent on lights, and you can complain about it or you can enjoy it, you know. You don't have to always ridicule it. So that's my 2 cents. I'll stay out of politics. But I'm just basically saying that at the local level, a lot of times these people they don't make much money in the city council and stuff like that. The mayor doesn't make much money. He might not make anything, I don't know. I'm not really sure how that works. Alright, you see all these little areas of dark and light now? For the trees and all that stuff. It's starting to look like something. It's beginning to look a lot like a landscape. Yes, it really is. I'm going to take a very light green and yellow. I'm going to put some spots over here. And of course that's reflected in the water too. Everything you do at the top has to happen at the bottom. Let me add some red to that. Add a little bit of red to the yellow, make it orange. Why not? Yeah, a little bit of orange in there. I think that would go a long way. Because when the sun was hitting it yesterday, that's exactly what was happening. It was turning it orange. These leaves up here that were in their autumn mode, they were very much turning orange. This brush might be too small. Every once in a while somebody will tell me what size brush to use. I don't really think that way. I don't think in terms of, oh, this is the size I should use. What I usually do is I just get the brush I think will work, and then I decide if it works or not. I don't know, like a number 7 brush. I don't know those things just off the top of my head. Not really. I mean, I have my favorite brushes, believe it or not, but I don't think in terms of memorizing the numbers and all that. Maybe we can put some of those colors down here too. Well, let's get some of the dark, the lines for the tree trunks. I'll just use the burnt umber for that. Let's see, about right here. There we go, and then right here. There we go. Over here a little bit. It's almost like acrylic paint right now. I kind of like the way it dries. Do you know one of the things about gouache? I don't know if you know this, but gouache is used a lot in cartoons. Actually, not just cartoons, but like almost all film, like when they do a matte background and stuff. A lot of that is done with gouache, and the reason they use gouache is because it dries without gloss. It dries without that glossy finish, like acrylic would have a glossy finish. You know, and therefore makes it easier to photograph. It doesn't have that reflective surface. Did you know that? You did. Yeah, I know a lot of you do. So I learned that from other artists, because I've never done that. Like a lot of shadows on here. Shadows is what makes this picture. Shadows and reflections. Shadows and reflections. My fingers are getting, what do you call it? Tingly. Tingly fingers. Make some more shadows over here. And some of these lines will come back into the water also. So let's put some of them in there. Some of these vertical lines will extend, the reflection will be in the water. These colors back here, give it the background. I'm going to come into there and add some, a little bit more depth, I think. might be almost done. I'm not sure. Of course, I can't forget those birds. Let me do the birds right now while I'm thinking about it, before I forget to do them. There's not much to do. They're very just little white dots, basically. Just little white spots. But I gotta try to give it a little bit of a look of a bird. Maybe exaggerate a little bit. Get the reflections in the water. Put one over here. There's the little birds. Okay, what I want to do is add some of this burnt. I mean, what is it called again? Yellow ochre. Add some yellow to the yellow ochre. With some light colored vertical lines too that are visible there. Not sure what they are. Go. A few more very little shadows, little lines. These little yellow-green areas over here. Okay, I think I'm going to call it done. So there we have our second page of the journal. And it's Tuscawilla Park. So So I'm not sure if I should write on this side to identify that painting, because if the page ever gets removed, see how I put the words here? Can you see those words? For the painting I did yesterday, I put the words there for this painting. But if I do the same thing over here, that's going to be the back of that painting. So maybe the words for each painting should be on the opposite side. But anyway, alright, there's my Tuscawilla Park painting for my journal for today. Alright, thank you for watching. That was fun. I'm going to do it again today. I'm going to go out and get some reference footage, and then tomorrow's painting will be based on that. Deal? Deal. Talk to you later.